Yeah, man, it's good.
Is it good?
I would
I don't know.
listen.
It
It
doesn't say
wouldn't
live in the corner.
it wouldn't be the start of the throwdown if I didn't ask if we were good. I'm just trying to be consistent. Anyways, hello and welcome to another edition of the Thursday Throwdown, the longest running episodic show in 239 history. As always, I am your host, X to the D to the A to the L to the Y. And although the reign is coming to an end very shortly, I am still your reigning, defending, undisputed 239 captains champion. We are going to talk about that series and what went down. Also, happy Thanksgiving to each and every one of you fine, lovely people out there. It's funny because the Sober Elita show, our so-called colleagues, love to blast us for being late. But if you guys ever read my Thursday Throwdown post, it says 8:30-ish. There's always an ish. So technically, we're not late. We're punctual just as they are. It is there. But anyways, we have a lot to talk about tonight. I'm sure our Hawaiian friend Agent will be joining us at some point soon. He had to run an errand. The guy has big series tonight, but he's got errands to run. Anyways, I'm going to send it over to the man, the myth, the legend. I love the background, Pill Poner. How's it going, man?
What's going on, guys? Yeah, man, I'm excited. I mean, it's playoff time, and got to watch a couple of games this week. A couple more games were more interesting than others, but it was exciting, and I'm excited to see what happens tonight as well. We got a big series coming up with the Wanderers in 7 days, and yeah, so let's get it ripping rolling. Ability, how you doing today, man?
I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, the 239, this week has been an eye opener for me. A lot of things that shouldn't have happened have happened. Man, I love each and every one of you. I want you all to know that. Yes, I've been drinking. Yes, I've had a long day, but this is the Thursday Throwdown. This is how it goes. There's no screen behind me tonight. Just a little board up there. And I love you all. So, Daly, let's kick it off, man. What do we got? What's the topics tonight?
All right, man. So we spent the better part of a week and a half kind of building some of these series and getting ready for this. And I'm going to jump into the one that everybody was looking forward to, and that was the Peninsula Pirates versus Putting It In. The Pirates swept. As a matter of fact, we had 3 series sweeps in the first round, which with the way the parity of the league was, and I know the top 3 teams are really good, but to say 3 sweeps in the round with how good these teams were, it was shocking. I wasn't expecting it. So let's jump in. We'll go series by series. Let's start with Putting It In versus the Pirates, man, because everybody was talking about this series. Every single person in 239 was talking about it. Pale, I don't know if you watched the series. I don't know if you got after the games. But what was the big thing that you see? The Pirates come out, win 4 games. What was the big thing that you took away from that series?
Yeah, I watched the whole series, man, and the biggest thing that I saw was um, the Pirates just were able to clamp down defensively, man. Putting it in was a really good team. It was really well put together. No regrets. He's a great player and a great playmaker. He was obviously the catalyst on offense for you guys, but I I mean, he would get the puck in a corner, and there would just be nowhere to go with it. He couldn't take it in. He couldn't pass it to anybody. There was just nowhere to go, and that's just a tribute to how great the Pirates' defense was. I mean, Stealth Luca was out of his mind defensively. All those guys on that team were playing really well defensive hockey, and I think that's really what it comes down to. I mean, the other thing is, you know, I, 2 or 3 of the games went to overtime. I think it was 2.
2. It was 2. One was a double OT.
Yeah, so I mean the one, you've got Regretzi's coming down the wing. He makes a nice move on a guy, cones him a little bit, gets around him. It hits the pads, hits his skate, and goes in the net. Gets waved off. 5 minutes later, it's going down the ice the other way, and the puck hits off the guy's leg, goes in the net, gets reviewed, and gets called a goal. And that's I think that was game 2 or 3. Um, that's a rough way to lose, and that's a hard thing to come back from when that happens, especially when you get that elated feeling the goal goes in, you think it's going to count, think you're going to tie the series up or at least bring it back one game, and it just can't. So I think the Pirates are a real deal. I think putting it in was the real deal too. All these games were tight. 2-0 loss by Tomahawk at the end for Game 4 was great. I mean, listen, the team started to close the door and Tomahawk slammed it shut. That's how a series goes sometimes, and congrats to D-Mart and Luca and the rest of his team. That was a good series to watch. What do you got, Ability?
Well, I got to be honest with you. This has been a rough week for me. I started a second job this week, and I have not been able to spend time because I'm waking up early in the morning. Haven't been able to spend time watching everybody's series. I've been trying to practice with my own team, getting prepped for our series. It's gotten in the way. But I can tell you that I've heard some chirping that's gone on. I come to find out, I think as everybody did, after the fact, Stealth Luca D had called the sweep. He called the sweep over an ex-Daily team. That amount of confidence, I feel, and I've been saying this for a few weeks now. I think that Pirates team is a scary team. You don't want to face them. Daily, you got to see that firsthand, man. You don't want to face them. And it's not just because of all of the talent they have. It's the chemistry between those two specific players. You got D-Mart and Luca. They find ways to score. I'll be honest with you here, too. I did not think that series was going to be as close as it was score-wise. Game 1, they came out and they did what I thought they were going to do the entire series. You guys managed to keep it close for those other games, taking it to a double OT even. And that's unfortunate, the bounces that EA throws at you. My heart bleeds for any team that goes through that. It happened in our series, too, to the Danglers. But the Pirates are a really good team. I think Tomahawk's playing some of the best goaltending that he's put up in 2-3-9 yet. And so that's impressive. Say he fixed his internet or whatever, maybe that's a contributing factor. But this dude now, playing the way he is, one of the top goalies in the league. So I don't know. I'm going to go back and I'm going to watch that series. I'm excited to watch it, actually. I didn't think an ex-Daily team was going to get swept, be honest with you. And I'm kind of curious. I don't want to ask Daily, but I want to ask you, Pale Man, through watching that, what do you think was the one key factor from putting it in that really should have been better, could have been better?
I mean, I think scoring-wise, they could have been better, and it's unfortunate. Apparently, putting it in was obviously missing their left wing that they had played with the whole season, Maidagarn. I guess he had something come up with work or something like that and wasn't able to make it for the first game of the series. He might have been there the second game, maybe after they started. But, I know it was a last-minute deal, and they weren't expecting that. So that's tough for the first round of the playoffs to be missing a guy that's been on your starting lineup. That's been a good spark for this turnaround for putting it in. Watch Your Back is a good player. He came through with a couple of clutch goals for him. They just weren't able to get it done. They ended up sticking with Watch Your Back through the rest of the series. But I think end of the day, secondary scoring was what really killed the putting it in. I think Nexus and Sniper did a really great job of locking it down and shutting stuff down. Daily?
Well, yeah, I mean, so I guess I'll give my analysis on the series. First of all, and this isn't even to chirp Luca, but honestly, out of the three forwards, he was the most unnoticeable, in my opinion, in that series. And I'm not being a dick. I'm not doing that to chirp him, but that's just my analysis. First of all, Luca's known for his face-off abilities. That's his big thing. He's really good in the dot. First two games he smashed, but Esoteric got him in game 3 and 4. Esoteric actually, so that gif of beating the Penguin or Seal or whatever that was, Luca got beat in the dot, and in those games they didn't score a lot of goals. D-Mart was creating a lot of offense. BTW was creating a lot of offense as well out of my corner. I was really impressed with him. Game 1 got away from us, 7-2. It happens sometimes. And, again, we adjusted. We made some changes. You touched on Middle not being there. Listen, I'm not going to sit out here and make excuses. Close to every seventh man that's on a team, you need to be ready. And this has now happened 2 seasons in a row for me, just personally as a captain, where I've had to use my 7th guy in big games. So if you're somebody who's sitting there, I'm on the bench, get ready because I had to use pounders all 3 series last year, and Watcher back had to be ready to go. Middle was back in time for game 3. At that point, he was coming in completely cold. As a captain, I decided to rock the hand that had been playing, and that was, that was Watch. It's just tough coming in and, not really playing a lot of games, but it's no excuse. They got after us. But the most impressive thing to me, and I think Ability touched on it, Sniper and Nexus. They were really good back there. Noah Gretzky's is a dynamic forward. He's one of the best guys to have the puck. He's so dynamic when he has it. And Sniper did a really good job at just containing him. And we weren't getting open, all of us, but we were able to generate some shots. We actually out-timed on attack them in all 4 games, 3 of the 4 games. We had more shots in 3 out of the 4 games. So shout out to Tomahawk as well, man. I don't think we had a lot of great chances, but as we know, stupid stuff goes in this game. It does. So you need to be on point all the time. So shout out to that back end as well. If anything, to go back to Luke, I think he was most noticeable defensively of anything. But yeah, man, listen, I'm not going to take anything away from that Pirates team. That is a good team. I said it before. Couple bounces could have went another way. It could be a 2-2 series and we'd be playing tonight, but it's not the case. So, Agent, you finally decided to show up, man. Did you get your errands done? You feel good?
It was just one. I got stuck at work late. Otherwise, I would have been done with them early. But I got stuck at work an hour and a half late, like you do at times. It happens. And way it goes, wifey had plans. I had to take care of those before I could come on the show. She made that a point. So,
damn.
I like how Agent came on to the show. Did you see? He's like,
I know. Yeah. I saw it. He rolls up here and then he hits us all with the weird, awkward, simple jab.
Did it on purpose.
Yeah, it was good, man. It was good. So, anyways, we're talking about the Putting It In Pirate series. We basically all gave our analysis on the series. Did you have a chance to watch it? It was a Sunday game. There weren't a lot of people. We were the only game. So, what'd you see in that series if you watched it?
I watched part. I was playing NHL at the same time. So, I had it on my phone sitting over on the side of me as I was playing. So, I was watching bits and parts. But I heard you state about Sniper and Nexus. That's what I was paying closest attention to, was those two. And those guys were on point the entire series. I don't think they were caught out of position more than one time. They played really, really well back there as a solid unit together. And obviously, Tomahawk, he's been the number 3 goalie. Him and Shotgun have been going back and forth. And Sunday, he played awesome. I mean, he played terrific in net. Like you said, he had a lot of shots, and the EA stuff happened. So for that to not happen, it's saying that he was playing really, really well. And obviously the forward line, Luka and Dan together, is a really tough pair. Everybody knew when they got together that team was going to be a force. It took them about a week to get rolling, but once they got rolling, they were about unbeatable the rest of the season. And I think that's going to continue. They're going to be really good in playoffs, and any series they're a part of is going to be a lot of fun to watch.
And by the way, man, I just want to make this stated real quick too. For all the people who have messaged me saying, this is earlier in the season, and you know who you are. Oh, D-Mart's washed up. D-Mart's not the same player. You're fucking dumb. It takes time. It's a new game, but nobody wants to play that team now. I can tell you that right now. You do not want to play that team. Luke is great. BTW is great. But anybody who messaged me and said, oh, man, D-Mart doesn't look like the same player, and I looked at you and I said, just wait. Relax. There's a reason that he's been that since NHL 09. Relax. He's back, man. So anybody who thought that or said that, you should watch the Pirates Putting It In series. And
you should just listen to the great analysis on the Throwdown when I've been saying they're really scary for the last 3 weeks.
Listen, no, you have, but I had people, and I'm not going to bust them out on this, but literally go out of their way to message me to tell me that D-Mart is not washed up, but isn't the same player. I'll use those quotes. But
on that note, I thought Tompkins had a really good series for you guys too. The games were really tight, and Tompkins kind of was a really good, or was a really big part of that. Being able to contain D-Mart is not an easy thing, and I thought he did a really solid job at it. It obviously wasn't enough, but he's a rookie coming into the league, and I thought he did a really good job on that back end with you.
I mean, yeah, he did. And, it was all season with him. Tompkins is, first of all, the funniest fucking dude ever, by the way. He's quiet, but he is an assassin of hilarity. It is absolutely amazing. Shout out to him, man. But he was solid all year, again, not lighting up. But he allowed me, I like to get into plays. I like to create offense from the back end. Having a guy like Tompkins that you trust back there really allows that to happen. It allows me to get into plays. But I will say, too, and for anybody who watched that series, because of those forwards, because of that 3-forward setup, I was not able to get into play because they could just trigger at any time. So it really forced me personally to change the way that I played, which was fine. We kept the games close, but I wasn't personally able to get into plays like I normally do. And that's kind of a testament to that offense. So they're a team. So with my point that I'm making is they're a team that's going to make you do things that you may not want to do. It may make you change the way that you play because they are so dynamic. But again, I'm a little bitter that Luka called chirp. How many cups do you have, Luka? I'm just curious in this league. I'm just curious to be calling sweeps. I mean, you got it, but how many cups? Anyways, all right. So that wasn't the only series. Now the other two series were also sweeps. That was, and I'm gonna start with Hut Heroes versus the Damn Dirty Apes. And I'm gonna break this one down real quick. And this is simple. McGilla did way too many lineup changes. It looked like they had a different lineup every game. And I know you're trying to spark something, and I know you're trying to get it going, but I just saw lineup change and lineup change and lineup change. And I'm sorry, but it is hard to get any sort of continuity going. It's hard to get on the same page when you're playing right D one game, center the next game, left wing in the next game. That's really hard. And a team like Hut Heroes, it doesn't affect them because they're just playing their game. You know what I'm saying? The way to beat Hut Heroes is you have to get them outside of their comfort zone. But when you have players adjusting every single game to another position, your players aren't comfortable. So how are you going to make their players uncomfortable when your players are uncomfortable? So that was the biggest thing I took. I don't really think anybody expected the Apes to take out the Heroes just because the Heroes have been so good all year defensively. But what do you think, Pale? Did you watch that series a little bit? Do you disagree with everything I'm saying? What do you think about Heroes versus Apes?
Yeah, I was at the Flyers game that night, but I got in I think around halfway through the second or third game. It was a 1-0 shutout. It was the first game that I got to watch, and that's a rough way to lose again. You only let in one goal and you can't muster any offense the other way. But yeah, I mean, we touched on that in 239 Tonight Throwdown last week. We weren't sure what McGilla's lineup was going to look like, whether Jofus was going to be on right wing, whether he was going to be on right D. He ended up being at center instead. I know they tried Murph at lefty. They tried a couple of different lineup combinations. And at the end of the day, I think we touched on it and said it in the Thursday tonight thing. You need to have a consistent lineup, and that stuff should have been worked out in club in the whole week that you had off going into this playoff series. That stuff needed to be worked out, and you needed to know what you're going to need to go in with and what you're going to do to make things happen. Instead, they tried to change things here and there. See Jofus at center, Hugh Laurie at center, Murph on left wing, Murph on left D, Steve in left wing, Steve in net, all the way in net. It's all over the place, and I thought that that would happen. It did. The Hut Heroes swept. They would have been a rough matchup regardless of what lineup he threw out there, but I think it would have been a better series had they gotten one lineup down pat, practiced with it, and kept that for all 4 games.
Agent, what do you think, man? I mean, me and Pale are kind of in the corner of so much lineup switching, different things. Do you think it would have mattered if you had that, or do you think the series was set in stone?
I don't think it would have mattered. I think it would have helped. They maybe would have picked up a game, but Hot Heroes are playing at the top of their game right now. I mean, they had a really tough end of the season. They played against your team, obviously, which was a team that was coming up and playing really, really strong. And they played against my team, which we ended up beating them. So they've had 2 really tough series at the end of the season, which I think helped them. I think that helped them in the long run to prepare. Yeah, they didn't play for maybe a week or so, but those guys they were playing. At least a couple of them were playing together, keeping the chemistry going. And that's the thing. I don't see Mag's team doing that. I didn't see those guys all playing together all the time. That shows. That shows in a series. I think that weighed upon it. But like I said, if they would have had the same core group of guys playing the same positions together and had a little bit of practice going in, that I think they would have at least maybe gotten the game out of them. That 1-0 game, maybe they could have mustered up a 1-1 game, take an OT and take one, But I just didn't think they had much of a chance against that Hut Heroes team, to be honest.
What do you think, Ability, man? I mean, again, we all seem to be in that corner, but are you kind of in the same mindset?
I got to be honest. I got to ask a question while I take this shot right here. Was there someone that didn't play in that series? Like, didn't Mags bench somebody?
He had a couple guys who could have been able to start, and he ended up taking Yambag, who we'll call him the nomadic traveler for this season. But yeah, Yam was on the bench. He didn't play in that series.
So I'll take it from there. And okay. Here's my take on it, okay? Every team, whether you realize it or not, I'm a firm believer in this, okay? It's kind of maybe I'm not going to go there. But every team has a very lucky piece on that team. Someone that can come in, someone that can do something that other players don't do. It's sporadic sometimes. You don't even know what's coming. It's unpredictable. I think Yam offers an element to the Apes that actually could have paid off in this series. And I watched a little bit of it while I was practicing in between timeouts and pauses and whatnot. And every time I looked at the board, it was a close game for the most part. I think until it got down to the last game maybe. But there weren't a lot of goals scored by the Hut Heroes. I feel like the Apes could have stole one or two of these games. I think Yam really probably would have done well in this series. I don't know. It's a tough one. I agree with everything you guys said. If you would have had the same lineup, the consistency there, that probably would have paid off. I think if ever there was a series that could have had at least a lot of potential to be an upset, this one right here I feel should be tied at 2-2 going into the last 3 games. I'm not taking anything away from the Hut Heroes when I say that, but they know they didn't come out and play their best hockey in this series. They had gaps there that could have been taken advantage of and weren't. So I'm not surprised they swept, okay? But based on how they played, I think that the Apes should have probably got 2 games out of it. So it's unfortunate for Mag's team. All the players on that team, they're awesome people, and they're great players. So, you guys had a good season, and I love all of you despite everything.
Well, the thing is right now, Hut Heroes are sitting comfortable. We're waiting to see who their next opponent's going to be. Victoria's Secret. Let's talk about them. They just got done with the diddling danglers, the didling. It's going to suck to not say the rectum stuffers anymore, man. I literally think that could go down as one of the best team typos ever. Like, I don't know if it was an actual typo, whether DC fucked up or, like, we fucked up, like, when we put his team in. But, like, man, like, it's literally amazing. You see how this league works, like, 8 seasons from now, we talk about shit that happened in season 1 and 2. Like, we're going to go back to season 5. Be like, hey, man, you remember when DC named his team after a fucking rectum stuffing newspapers? So crazy. Like, it's going to be a thing. It might even make it on a t-shirt. 239 Shop is live. Go check it out. But Victoria's Secret, man, there's so much firepower on this team. There's a reason that they were the number 1 goal scorer in the league by a substantial margin. I think it was over 30 goals. That's because they can get so much offense from so many different places. You have that Brick City playing lefty. He likes to jump into play. Shout out to Tom FTW, man. That Selkie award looks pretty good because he plays such a good 2-way game. I see him, Brick is very offensive, and I see Tom naturally just filling that. Like, you would think, like, when you have D-men jumping in like that, you got to have a center or a winger who's aware of that play style because, I never see any breakaways in these Victoria's Secret series, which is great. It's awesome for ability. He's not facing them, but you need that. You need that sort of that team dynamic, which I love. Odd guy is getting it done. He's so solid. I don't know how he went in the 4th round. You guys are all crazy. And then you have that dynamic forward lineup. Figo when he plays, Tom and Cosmic. Cosmic and Tom have been getting after it all season. They have great chemistry. I think Figo is a really nice, and he's going to get mad for me saying this, but I think he's a nice third piece to that line. To me, this is Cosmic and Tom's offense. These guys play together all the time. The stats reflect it. I know you could sit there and say, well, if I was there, I think even if Figo was full-time, I still think that this is a Tom Cosmic offense. I watched them play together, and I watched the breakouts are the biggest thing, man. Cosmic knows how to get into space, and Tom knows how to find them. And it sounds crazy. It sounds simple. That's tough, man. But it's just Tom has that nice timing. And once Cosmic gets that little bit of separation, it's difficult. He's really, really tough to stop. He knows the game inside and out. So Victoria's Secret, I'm not surprised got after the Danglers, especially without Atri, who got ruled one. Shout out to DC, man. It sucks, but you got to get after it. So, Pale, I don't know if you watched any of the series, but what was the biggest thing that you took away from Rectum Stuffers versus Victoria's Secret?
I mean, you covered most of it. Victoria's Secret has been a train running down the tracks all season long. They've been smoking guys every series. DC's team came out to play though. I think all but one of those games were 1-goal games. So it's not like they blew these guys out of the water. I mean, Game 4 I think was like a 9-2 loss or something like that. So that probably left a salty taste in their mouth. But games 1 through 3 were right. They were close. They were tight. Light the Lamp came to play. DC came to play. All these guys, they came out to play a good series, and they did. I don't think the series really reflects how close that was, but I think overall it was a pretty great series. Victoria's Secret came out on top, as they should. They're the number 3 seed. Gotta hand it to them. Ability. You guys did awesome. What do you got?
Thank you. Well, man, I can tell you. I first off, I got to give props to the Danglers. We played them in the series during the season with Atri, and we swept them. And that series really wasn't close. We didn't just come out in this series like not practicing, not trying, right, Agent? We tried. We practiced. We knew that this was going to be a tougher fight than the first time around, and it sure was. I mean, 3 of the games were 1-goal games. In the first game, we went to a double overtime. The Danglers, I forget who took the shot, but they had a shot from the point. It got deflected, and the ref called it off as a high stick. That is the most fortunate thing that could have happened for us because we turned around and Tom buried one, and we ended up getting that win. Game 2, we won it 3-2. And that was with the Danglers, I believe, having the lead throughout all of the second and most of the third period down to the last 2 minutes. And Cosmic got a breakaway, tied it up. And then with 14 seconds left in the game, he somehow got past him again, got another breakaway, and he closed the door. So those 2 games, overcoming adversity, my team did, but we really stole those games from the Danglers. And for that, my heart bleeds for him because there's in the playoffs, especially, man, it is tough to lose games like that. And I knew after Cosmic got those 2 breakaways and we won that game 2, I knew we won the series because it was demoralizing, right? We go to game 3, and again, man, it's a fight. We had the lead. We're up, I think it was 4-1, and they came back, and it was 4-3, and they were on a mission to try and tie it. We escaped that game, and we got that 3rd victory. And I think that was the icing on the cake because when game 4 hit, my team, we went into a different realm at that point. It was Britney Spears music in the party. And as soon as Britney comes on, boys and girls, it is lights out. Goals are being scored. So we held off till game 4. But no, man, a lot of props to Hollywood. In that first game, he posted 31 saves. And the kind of saves he made were all-star caliber. I had 1 save on a breakaway. Light the Lamp came down, and I got a nice pad stack save on him. That was my highlight of the series. But Hollywood really deserves a lot of credit. I don't know if this guy has ever played that good in the playoffs. 31 saves, the way he was saving the puck. But, man, hats off to you, bro. You did a great job, the whole team.
Yeah, Hollywood is very, very, very underrated as a goaltender. He obviously does a lot on the site, but he really can play net. He's more of a stand-up goalie. And when he's on, man, he's tough. He's taken his team to a cup final, so he knows what it's like to play in some big games. So shout out to him. Agent, what do you think, man? What did you see in the series? I know we've touched on a lot of it, but what did you see?
I really didn't get to watch much of it. My watching of it was watching the shout box of the wasn't play by play, but kind of like period by play updates from whoever was watching the series. And to be honest, I did not know you guys swept. I thought you guys split games right away. By reading the shout box, I literally thought it was a 2-2 series until somebody, I think Kyle joined or something, and said something about sweeping. I'm like, I was really confused. I did not realize you guys swept, so that's why
Who do you think we are, man? The Seven Taves?
How'd your season series go, Bob?
Hey, listen, man. Hey, he's advanced. You're not yet. Let's get to your series first of all. Let's get to that, man. We've got Victoria's Secret and HUD Heroes who are waiting in the realms. Peninsula Pirates waiting in the realms. It's your 1, 2, and 4 seed. So now we go to the 3 seed, the 2 seed. Seven Taves taking on the Wanderers, led by DJ's team. Nobody in their right mind thought that DJ's team had a chance of winning the series. And DJ will be the first one to tell you that. He said it in admin chat about 47 times today. But here we are, 2-2 series. I'm going to give my analysis, and then I'll pass it along to Pale. I think the big issue with Seven Taves, and I've said this as far as playoffs is a different beast, man. Okay? And I think everybody in this party, Pale's won a championship, Ability's playing in big series right now. Playoffs is a different beast. I was curious as to how the D pair of Dunn and Agent would fare in the big game. Not because I don't think they're good. I just think that Agent played forward a lot of the season, and like 2 weeks left in the season, he moved to D, and he played really good. There were some interesting matchups. They go out and beat HUD Heroes. But I was watching that series, and I just saw a lot of like miscommunications and defensive laps and different things like that. Just small little things that in the playoffs can really hurt you. So that's kind of what I'm seeing on one side. I do think that Seven Taves ultimately will prevail in the series. I think their offense, there's too much offense. They have too many guys who can beat you. That wasn't until I heard Saney might be missing games tonight, which I'm sure Agent will clarify and let us know what's going on with that. But I still think Seven Taves get it done, but it's really hard for me to bet against King Rome. Let me tell you guys something about Mr. Rome. This guy plays in big series. He's been in big games. He's won cups. He's a defending champion. He knows what it takes to win big games. And I'm going to tell you right now, he doesn't captain enough, but he is a great leader. He's a great locker room guy. He's quiet, but when he needs to get out there, he does. And he tells the guys how it is. And he's a really good leader in that aspect. So DJ went really good getting him at pick 12 or whatever it was. Ultimately, I think Seven Taves is going to get it done, but I think it's going to go 7, man. What do you think, Pale?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about King Rome. The other guy to talk about in the room is McSwagger, man. He was lighting up Seven Taves. He was getting behind their defense, and he was making stuff happen. Playoff times is when McSwagger comes to play, man. He's been in the finals like 3 or 4 times already. In 2-3-9, McSwagger knows how to win. He knows how to play in the playoffs, and he knows how to score. Unfortunately, he hasn't been able to bag it all yet, but he's out there. He's competing. He's trying to get these W's for the team in a series where nobody gave the Wanderers a chance. So
is McSwagger the Justin Williams of 2-3-9?
I mean, I'd be hard pressed to go against it. I don't know that there's anybody else out there that's getting the clutch goals that McSwagger is in the playoffs year after year consistently. Any suggestions? Anybody else? I don't know anybody else.
I think he's missed playoffs once. I think McSwagger's missed playoff once. He's been to like 2 or 3 finals, I believe. 2 I know for sure. Yep. But Billy, I'll go to you before I go to Agent because obviously this is his series, man. What have you seen so far? 7 Taves, man. The Wanderers are playing them really tight. The Wanderers were actually up 2-0 in the series, so a little adversity for 7 Taves, a team that really hadn't lost the series all season. Not really, hadn't they? Didn't lose a series all season. Finally facing a little bit of adversity. They do get 2 wins in a row. How do you see this playing out?
Well, I'm a little bit biased here, but I feel like that's because I've got that strong rooting for the underdog thing going on. So in this series, everyone would say that the Wanderers are the underdog. You got players like McSwagger who wants that championship, just hasn't got it yet. You got those players like Rev Hellcat, really wants that championship, just hasn't got it yet. Then you got Agents team. I don't even want to talk about Agents team. You know, they're great. Okay. So what? They're going to come out. They're going to do some stuff. They're going to whatever. But I think that this series is really going to be determined by the heart of the Wanderers. I think DJ would like to be recognized as a champion. And I think he's got a lot of game, a lot of skill in that. He's holding it down. I can't wait to watch the conclusion of this series. I really feel like the Wanderers, along with King Rome, and you nailed it, man. Great leader. That guy is so skilled on the ice. Can play multiple positions. He can get shit done. So I'm really curious to see how this is going to play out. I think that if I were betting on this series at this point, I am going to take the Wanderers. And that's not to slight Agents team. I think the Wanderers want it more. I think that they're playing harder. That's just my take on it.
Who the fuck saw that sauce pass that Rome made, by the way, out of his D zone? I was literally like, holy shit. It looked like Agent did a full.
I saw it.
Was it a flyby? Was that you?
What?
Who flew by the zone, or was that Dunner?
Oh, I don't remember. Probably me. Might as well blame me. I played like shit.
Here's the thing. This is kind of what I'm talking about. That's a game-winning goal, okay? And when I was talking about miscues, this is what I'm thinking, or what I'm referencing. It was at an overtime game, I believe, in OT, and all of a sudden I see a sauce pass from like right before the red line or the blue line of the zone. It goes, and I see a D-man trying to jump that lane. I've been there. You want to do it. That is not the time or the place to be trying to jump that pass, because if you miss, which happened, not only do you look absolutely ridiculous, but it ended up costing the game. I'm not saying that is the reason they lost. Obviously, it took a series of events to get there. But I saw that play. Shout out to Rome, but at the same time, had a little defensive miscue there. But, Agent, first of all, give me the breakdown. What's happening with Staney tonight, and what's it going to take for you guys to get it done and advance to the next round?
DJ's being a true captain / admin. I mean, he's doing – I asked him if we could start at like 10:10, 10:15, because Staney will be home by 10:10, 10:15. So, and he accepted that. So we're starting 10:15 start time tonight. So Sandy should be there. He told me he'll be home. He should be on Xbox by like 10:10 is what he told me. So we'll be starting right around that time. So Sandy will be there. We'll have the full squad. But for the series, you know, I had multiple people message me after the series and said that they outplayed us all 4 games, which I find was I took full blame. I took it in the team chat for the first 2 games because I let McSwagger passed me a couple too many times in those first 2 games. Game 1, he had 2 points, I think, maybe 3. But game 2, he had, I think, 4 or 5 points. And all those came from beating me on my side. So I made an adjustment game 3 and 4, and it made a difference. Obviously, we won 3-1 and I think 4-3 or something. But in those first 1 and 2 games, we were leading with less than 5 minutes left to go in the third. So I think we kind of did it to ourselves. I don't know how people were saying that they were beating us or outplaying us, because that doesn't make sense to me. I think we kind of pissed it down our leg, and I was a big part of that, and I can accept that, and I already have, you know. So it's a 2-2 series as it has, and haven't lost a series all season, and I plan on sticking it that way.
Yeah, I mean, and again, like, you know, the Wanderers, Johnny Blaze has really impressed me, man, from a guy who really – he impressed me when we played them. Or we played him early in the season. And it was when I had Silver on my team. And Silver, like, Johnny was just playing positionally so sound. Like, and Johnny's really come along. His game has evolved. You know, he's finally taken that next step from, and no offense, Johnny, but like years of being, you know, a mediocrity to being a guy that you can really count on. I mean, these are big fucking games. No offense but this is a Wanderers team that nobody thought was going to do anything. And I think Kayla and Johnny have both been fantastic on the back. And I think just watching them, stability. And again, I think 7 Taves on the back end. They need to clean it up. You can't have plays like that, you know. And but again, they made their adjustments. 3 and 4, they looked like the 7 Taves of normal. So we'll see. Shotgun's going to have to be a big part. DJ's going to have to be a big part. I think ultimately tonight it's going to come down to the goaltending. Whatever goaltender is. And this is so important. The soft goals. We see them all the time in this game, right? The soft ones. Got to prevent those. You got to prevent those. Do whatever it takes to prevent those goals. They're going to happen, but limiting them. You can't let those silly ones in. And I think both goalies need to be on their game tonight to prevent that from happening. Ultimately, 7 games, I got 7 Taves in this one. I just think that they're built for a playoff run, but I do think it's going to go 7. And I would not be shocked if the Wanderers did take the first game and that kind of kickstarts 7 Taves. But we'll see. It's going to be a good series. It's the only series on the docket tonight, so I'm pretty sure that's going to be very view heavy. So no pressure on anybody.
Everybody's going to be watching me just looking like a cone on left D.
Everybody's going to be watching. So please, like I said, tune in. Well, who streams?
Me and DJ.
Oh, yeah, DJ streams too. So, hey, if you guys haven't checked the playoff thread, I'll update that as it goes along. We'll get rid of the old ones, or maybe I'll just do a new post or something, but we'll get all that in there. So that's our series for tonight. With that, again, it's going to be exciting, man. We're going to be down to the final 4 teams. But we have some other news to attend to, some other information, and most of you already know, but I want to bring it up. Sign-ups. Every year, about this time, season, that first round, we do sign-ups for the next season. That's right. Your season 6 sign-ups are live. Now, do not wait till the last minute. Do not wait till the last minute. If you're playing, sign up. Okay? Now, I don't want anybody to, like I said, you're waiting till the last minute and then something happens and then you don't get in or whatever. Please, if you're going to play, sign up. Just sign up. Don't wait like, I got to wait till 11:58 because you don't know what's going to happen. If we get an influx, we might shut it. You know what I'm saying? That could happen. Hey, the deadline's the 15th, but let's say we get 9 million dudes sign up. So please don't play like Dingleberry. Like, just sign the fuck up. Like, if you're playing, sign up. Like, I don't know. I got to figure out my life. Fuck you. Just sign up or don't. Don't do that because you'll be like, Daly, I've been an OG, but like you missed it. So please sign up, get in there, take care of business. Now, MIA, known MIA. And I'm doing this because I do this every year, right? Like you sign up, different things like that. MIA. If you have known MIA, put it in there. For instance, I can't play Mondays. Hey, Daly, I'm going to like jerk off in a corner from the 24th to the 30th. Cool, fine, put it in there. Known MIA. Obviously, shit's going to come up. We understand that. We get it. Sorry, Will. Sorry, guys. That was my fault. I just had to make it as extreme as possible so people understand where I'm coming from. So put that in there. And then, so if you know it, put it in there. Full-time, part-time. Let's go over this, guys. Let's go over full-time, part-time, and make this quick. Full-time, you are prioritizing 239 as your league. We play 2 series a week. You are expected as a full-time player to make those 2 series. Unless it conflicts with known MIA or something comes up, we get it. Having an LG series, people who play in 2 leagues. Having an MHL series, people who play in 2 leagues. And you know who you are, a.k.a. Toms, because I don't give a fuck about calling anybody out. If this is going to be your full-time league and you're going to put that, you can play your 2 nights here. Missing for an LG game is not acceptable. It's rule 1. Don't be a douche. You can be rule 1 for that, technically. Probably not going to happen, but you could be. Mm-hmm. So if you are scheduled to play, you are expected to be here. Fact. End of story. So, part-time, 1 series a week. You are expected to play that 1 series of the week. Obviously, if there's conflictions, different things like that. So, everybody understands what full-time, part-time is. We've been at this for 6 fucking seasons. I would hope that we have it figured out by now. But if you don't, you could always G-chat me, email me, and I will be more than happy to figure it out and help you get to where you need to get to. Cool. Thank you. Preferred positions, willing positions. Preferred is what you prefer. Willing, you're willing to play it. If a captain drafts you and plays you in a willing position, that's where you play. Yes, you shouldn't have put it as willing otherwise. Does that make sense at all? Okay. Like I'm getting a lot of questions about it. So
so there was a discussion on the East over Elitist last week regarding the preferred position versus willing. I think Sober brought it up. He was like, "Hey, I really don't mind playing left or right wing. I'm more than comfortable with both. I'd actually say that I prefer both. Why can't I just have wing as my preferred position?" So, uh, preferred position is what you want to play. Given a choice of all 6 positions, what you want to play. Um, willing is I'm the type of guy I'll play literally anywhere. I put in my willing thing, righty, lefty, goalie, left wing, center, right wing. I'm good. I'll play anywhere I want, anywhere anybody needs me. So I I don't personally get it. I don't have a preference. So maybe that's for somebody else to address. But
ready for me to debunk this? You ready for me to debunk this?
Yeah.
Okay. So this falls on the captain. This falls on scouting. This falls on understanding. For instance, I'm going to give you an example. If Sober puts willing left defense, there's no fiddler fucking way in hell. If you've done your research and you've scouted that player, yeah, he's willing to play it, but you're not playing him there. Okay? If Esoteric says, I want to play right D and I'm willing to play right, I don't care if Esoteric puts it as fucking preferred. You don't play him there, okay? This is where drape and different things comes into play. Do you get what okay? So you have to do as a captain, if you're one of the 12, 14, 16, 18, 20 captains, however many there may be, if you are one of the captains, that is on you. You need to do your due diligence. People are going to fill out their things the way they should, or the way they think they should. Yeah, I think, you know what? I think I'm the fucking best right winger in the world. I want to prefer right wing. But I can tell you right now, 95% of this league, if I have willing right D, is not going to draft me to play right wing. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to everybody? So yes, I'm telling you what I prefer to play, but if you put will, you need to do your homework. So captains, do your homework, do your research, do your scouting, understand what's going on. We have this cool thing called a players page now, so you can actually sort by position for that player and see statistically, and I know stats aren't the end all be all, but you can actually look statistically how that player plays at that position, what kind of production that player is producing at that position. And if you're using that as your end all be all tool, you will fail. You will fail as a captain. I will tell you that right now, but it is a tool that you can utilize. You can look at it. It's got past seasons, which Pixel, aka DeRock, is working on getting in right now. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But guys, you got to do that's why the willing preferred thing doesn't matter, because ultimately it falls on the captains. Yes, Sober, I know you're willing left wing or right wing, but it's up to the captain to understand and scout and say, okay, listen, I've seen the left-handed shot on left wing. I don't really, I said, don't really like that. I like that on the right side, whatever the case is. Maybe that works for them. But ultimately, if you're putting willing preferred, guys got to do their homework. So, again, that's just my opinion on it. That's all I'm going to say on the matter. If you have questions on signups, ask myself, DJ. Yambag actually loves questions about signups. So reach out to him.
Ask Yambag all of your questions.
Ask him every question, man. Like, he loves that shit. So go to Yam. Awards. G-Chat has been blowing up about awards. Pale, I'm going to let you take this one because I've been talking way too long. So fill everybody in what we're doing with awards.
Yeah, so awards, we're doing it pretty much the same as we did last season, with a minor tweak. We're having all the media guys as well as the admins nominate awards. And what we're going to go ahead and do is take the top 3 from those nominations, the most nominations, whoever has the top 3, that is going to be who's on the ballot. As opposed to last year. Last year we put everybody who got a nomination on the ballot. This year we're going to filter it down. We're just going to make it the top 3 players to get nominated by this group of people is going to be on the ballot, and then we'll be shooting that ballot out into the site, and everybody will have a chance to vote on it. That's your Norris, that's your Selke, the Hart, as well as first team All-Star, second team All-Star. All those will be there to nominate or to vote on. Daly, you have any idea when we're going to be putting that out by?
Okay, so this is going to be dependent on the 239 media team. You guys know who you are. They're going to get me their noms, and once they do that, that will set the ballot, and those 3 you'll have 3 per category. The All-Star nominations will be heavier, and Pale and I talked about that. There will be more than 3 names per category on that. We will have a heavy list. Basically, if you get nominated for an all-star, you are going to be on that ballot. So if one of the media members recognizes you as an all-star in the league, you will get on that ballot, and then it will be to the community to vote on that again. So guys, I'm going to make a post. If there's something or some information that you would like attached to the name. Last year we put stats, I believe, and people are like, oh, this can't be the end-all, be-all. And I was like, okay. So give us some ideas. What do you guys want to see? Do you want to see goals and assists? Do you want to see records? Let me know. And I'll try and get it on the ballot so that it's there while you're voting, so you can see it, so you can read it. We'll make it work. So give me your ideas on that. Ability. You ready for awards, man? Like half your team's going to win everything.
I don't know if that's true or not. There's not many believers on my team that that's even a possibility, but I wouldn't mind seeing it. I'll tell you what, despite some of the stuff that I think I have inadvertently cost my team this season, I love my guys. I got a great bunch of guys. If you know how to tame them, they're fantastic. It's also I need to say this on the Throwdown, but Brick went ham in that series, and I just want everyone to know that has to be said. Odd Guy, Tom, these guys stopped so many pucks throughout this series. They probably saved more goals than I did, and that's no lie. It's unfortunately the truth, but it's no lie. Man, I'm excited about awards. There's a few other awards too that I know for a fact are going to other players that are rightfully deserving. So, and we haven't even nominated them yet, but I already know in my mind who's winning some of these awards. This season has been a breakout year for a couple people, and it's going to get shown. So, yeah, man, pumped up. Award time? Hell yeah.
Okay, yes. And with that, there's some other stuff going on right now. Odd Guy, our favorite Odd Guy, has been working pretty vigorously. You remember a couple weeks ago, me and Ability got into it on Twitter about for those of you who follow us on Twitter, about the Hanzo Roberto rating cards. So him and I were having words and being angry with one another, which happens sometimes. Listen, guys, when you spend as much time as we do in chats and groups, and when you are passionate like we are about this stuff, these things happen. It's just a thing. Me and Yambag fight literally every day. But we, here we are. We're still out here trying to make this league great, and we love each other at the end of the day. Me and Ability, we fight on Twitter. It's about league stuff. It's because we want to make the league great. So we're always going to argue. It's part of the brotherhood, man. Once you're in it, you're in it. And every one of you here with us is here and in it. And this is how it goes sometimes, But Odd Guy has been working his butt off to basically come up with this algorithm, this formula. And what it's doing is it's taking into account goals, assists, plus minus, shots, Corsi, which is time on attack, like all these wins, losses, all these different factors, these stats. And basically what it's doing, it's creating this number 0 to 100, which is ultimately a player rating. Okay. And it's based off of not one season. It's based off career stats as I understand it. Again, he's still working on it. He's still trying to figure things out. But if it plays out and it goes according to plan, it's going to shoot you out a player rating. Okay. Now these ratings, will be great because they'll be completely reflective of stats. There's no other way to do it but to be reflective of stats. And I was a big person against it because I'm like, oh, the stats don't tell a story. Since it's going to be over 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seasons, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with that because what that's doing, it's taking an average of all your seasons. Not just so if you have a bad season, it's not going to affect you as much as you may think. But ultimately what it'll do, it'll create this number. It's going to give you another tool. As a captain, maybe you can look and see like consistency, like, oh, hey, this guy's pretty consistent in the goals category. This guy's pretty consistent in this category. Oh, he's had the same player. It'll be kind of a cool little feature. So shout out to Odd Guy. I know he's still working on it. I don't want to put any pressure on him because he's been kicking his butt on it. But kind of a cool thing. So, Pale, do you have any more info? Or did I touch on everything?
Yeah, man. I saw this thing today. He actually sent it to me yesterday, but I gave it like more of an in-depth look today to figure everything out and see what all the moving parts were and what everything looked like. And this thing is in-depth and it's complex and it looks awesome. Odd Guy did a fantastic job. He did it all by himself. He ripped all the stats off so for what's in there currently is just for the current season. So none of it has been taking career stats. Once the career stats are up on the main 239 page that we have now, he's planning on implementing them into the algorithm so that, he can work everything out that way. But this thing, as it stands, looks like it's going to be awesome. It's going to give you a real number to associate. It's broken down into different categories: offensive, defensive, checking. Everything has a number attached to it. You can go in and you can look at it and you can see where that number comes from, what the overall is, and that's hopefully, maybe down the line, because I don't think this is an exact priority for Pixel. He's got a lot of stuff going on, but hopefully that can maybe even be implemented onto your player page that's on the 239 site.
What do you got? Updated. What do you got, Ryan? I saw you jump out of your chair.
Hey, I'll tell you what. If there was anything good that came from any of my bitching this season, this formula, this algorithm that Odd Guy's been working on, and he has shared this with me since it was just 3 columns, and I've gotten to watch this thing grow, and I haven't even spoke to him directly with more than a few sentences because I wasn't for sure how it was going to pan out. But the more I've seen, the last one he sent me, even it's in depth. I mean, everything these guys just touched on, it is tooth and nail, probably going to lead the way into what an accurate player rating is for each one of us. And the cool thing about this, and this is kind of what I've been stressing from the get-go, I think that maybe I don't have a great way of communicating via text. I've heard this from several people throughout my life, so I'm sorry for that, guys. But this is going to give us that ESPN player rating. I mean, when you're talking about a guy and how skilled he is, whether he's a Kobe or a LeBron or a Jordan, this is going to give you that player rating that is going to identify you where you are at, not by a lie, not by a opinion, not by eyeballing, but by a statistic that you've earned. And that is the fairest way to go about these player ratings. So for all the work that Odd Guy has put into this, man, I give you nothing but praise, dude. I couldn't be more happier, and I can't wait to see the finished product. This is something that really is going to benefit the league, and it's going to give everyone who has earned a solid rating something to hold their head up high about, be proud about. But more importantly, just like Daly touched on, this will also give new captains a chance to evaluate a player based on just watching them play 2 games in a scouting game or, whatever in a night. So there is going to be some factual benefit to this moving forward. And, man, I'm pumped about it. I'm excited about it. I can't thank Odd Guy enough for putting in the time and dedication and love for the league, just like we've all got to make this happen. I'm really stoked about it.
And, kind of like I said, the cool thing with this is I got to talk to Pixel, and Pale touched on it, but having that rating show up on your player page would be kind of cool. Having it be dynamic, so as the season goes, that number's going up or down. So you're saying, maybe it's a 93 and it's 92. You have a bad stretch of 8 games. It goes down to a 91, based on your career stats. I think it'd be cool to have something dynamic like that, even if it's something that updated at the end of the season. I know in another league, they had something called the D rating. And most of you who played in that league probably know as well. I think this is very comparable to that. I know the technology is there to get it in there. So maybe if Odd, can get Pixel this formula that he's using, we can, rip everything off the site once those get up. It's something that could be really cool. Early stages, guys. Early stages. But something that, again, no other league has this. No other league is doing this. So when I come on here and say we're doing big things, we're doing big things. Like we have somebody who's literally taking time out of their busy day to do something like this. Pair that on another front with Hanzo Roberto, who's one of the best in the business at graphics and putting stuff together like that, mixed with Odd's dynamic ratings, and you have something pretty awesome that's really sets us apart from any other league. So with that, super, super exciting. Shout out to both those guys. Hanzo, he's been low-key, man. I've talked to him. He's had a lot going on. He's been busy, some family stuff, but he's still here. He is still contributing, and again, he loves the ratings, and he loves everything that he's seeing. So he's totally 100% on board with that. Last but not least, and then I know Agent, we lost Agent, man, faulty internet. Listen, man, this guy goes out there. He goes out, and he has to run an errand for wifey. He pops in here for 14 seconds, and then his internet drops. That's not good for a guy who's getting ready to play a 7-game series tonight, or a final 3 games of a 7-game series. That worries me a little bit in my assessment. Maybe I'll just go ahead and pick the Wanderers now. Okay, maybe I'll just do that. But we were kind of going over some brainstorming stuff today. And we have, dude, I'm in like 97 million threads that cover so many different things. Like, I can't even keep track of it half the day. Me and Pale were talking today earlier. He's like, yeah, man, yo, let's get in that media thread. And I'm like, all right, just post it in there. He's like, I can't even fucking find it. I'm in so many threads. And then, like, I had to, like, bump it. And then we're like, oh, here it is. Like, it's crazy, but it's all for you guys because we love 239. So some of the ideas that Pixel has, I don't know if I'm supposed to share this shit, but guess what? I don't give a fuck because I'm going to do it. Because it's my job as media to let you guys know what the hell's going on. So a mini standings panel, something that Pixel wants to add in the next update. A media panel that'll show like recent live streams. That's kind of be like, from what I understand, the launch page. So when you get to 239, this is going to be the stuff that you see. Is that right, Pale?
Yeah. So right now you are directed to when you click the scoreboard button, it takes you to that front page where it's got the like Holly promotional video. So I think that's the page that he's talking about, where he wants the mini standings page, a media page with all the videos and what have you.
This is, and yeah, so that'll be like the new, like when you go to 239hockey.net, this is what you're going to see, the stuff I'm saying now. And again, this is work in progress, man, but I want to let you guys know, dude, we give, every day we're in there, man, we just give Pixel this list of shit. Like, we think of something like, dude, can you do this? And I keep saying Pixel, man, I'm sorry, The Rock. So, hey, man, what do you think about this? And his answer is 95% of the time, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can do that. It's just so crazy, man. Like, really mind-blowing stuff. A score ticker. So it's going to be a ticker on the top of the page, like a scoreboard form that shows, like, recent game scores, kind of like ESPN does, how that happens. So kind of a cool thing. That'll be right on the launch page that he's working on. Articles. So as we're sitting right now, our articles that were, if anybody knows 239 and vintage 239 and old school 239, like OG stuff, that right up on the main page when you sign in is fucking awesome. Well, Pixel's trying to, God damn it, Rock's trying to bring that back. So that would be absolutely awesome if he could get that back too. League events, if a player gets traded, a waiver gets signed, you'll be able to log in and there'll be like a league news thing and all that information will be there. So you get to kind of see that. My panel. So like, that'll be like, it shows your team, your most recent game stat. And then there's going to be a button to sign up. Dude, this is the coolest thing. And me and Pale were talking about this earlier. Moving forward, after this season, I believe, you're going to be able to sign up just right through the site. You click a button, it says sign up, and you fill that shit out right there. The days of Google Doc and all that crap that we do, over. We're not going to have to do that. Season 6 will probably be the last time we have to do that. And then moving into season 7, it's going to be a whole new thing. He's just kicking ass on this thing. You hit sign up right there. You fill it out, man. Boom. You're in the draft pool. Done. And then we'll use that same draft pool. It'll be a whole draft screen. And we kind of got a sneak preview of it last year. I know Pale was really excited about it before this season, but it just didn't happen. So we had to go old school on it. But once that thing is up and running, man, look out. It is so badass. It is so badass. Your player gets picked, man. Your avatar walks up to a podium like your Xbox Live, dude. It's so crazy, man. It's absolutely awesome. So get ready for that. Series of the week, it'll be a panel that shows up like an important upcoming series like Hut Hero 7 Taves. You'll be able to see that there. And then just kind of like quick stats is the ability to enter final scores of games without the rest of the stats so that we can get the scores and standings updated. So for instance, guys like Shock, I love you, buddy, but guys like Shock who don't get their stats in, let's say he's playing me, dude, I can put the game stats in for both of us. The standings will update, and then he can jerk off on his player stats later, so that the whole league isn't. How many times did that happen? I'm trying to run a fucking Thursday throwdown, and the stats are a week and a half old. Like, I can't even, I don't even know what the fucking standings are. It's so irritating. Anyways, the days of that are done. So, Pixel, guys, this dude is so quiet and so low-key, but Rock is behind the scenes getting fucking after it. Excuse my language. But he is just getting after it, and I am excited.
Pow!
Oh, Jesus. Okay, cool. I thought I heard somebody laughing, and I didn't know who it was. I was like, who's laughing?
No, that was Pale. I just come in with a pow.
By the way, your clock is 5 minutes fast behind you. Dude, over your right shoulder. Your clock on the table.
Oh, dude, I do that intentionally because I have to wake up at 5:45 in the morning.
Laugh going.
Oh, that sounds awful. Like literally nothing about that sounds good.
Yeah.
I just want to let you know, just in case. But I mean, you're the man with the plan, so I'll leave it be. Anyways, guys, that's pretty much it. I mean, we covered everything. Big series tonight. I'm getting ready to go watch it. We got 10 minutes before that drops. Probably gonna rip some big HUD packs. And, check out that series. Pale, anything on the send-off, man? No? Okay. I'll just go fuck myself. What about you, Billy, man? Anything on the send-off? Or?
I mean, like, that was like a premature send-off. I wasn't even ready for it. So I wish both the teams...
How about a couple of predictions? I mean, Daly, you taking Wanderers in 7?
Okay, here's the thing, man. Well, now I'm worried about Agent. Okay? I'm worried about that. Oh, fuck. Dude, listen, when this series started, I said 7 tapes all the way. I honestly thought the top 3 teams were going to sweep, and then 4 or 5 was going to be a 7-game series. That didn't fucking happen. So forget what I said out the window. Obviously, I'm the dumbest dumb ever. But I'll tell you what, King Rome has looked like playoff King Rome. That's when that guy shows up, dude. I'll take Wanderers in 7, man, and it's just because Agent fucking went on an errand, took 14 seconds on the show, and now his internet is shit. So I'm going with the Wanderers in 7. Give it, Pale. What do you got? Do you hear him, Ryan? I can't hear you, Pale.
Just delayed. Wait, it's coming.
Oh, it is? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think I'm going to still take 7 Tays. I think Pogs is going to be the guy that
Oh, my God. Yo, Pale. Your shit is literally like 15 seconds delayed. Like, literally. Like, I've never seen that. I hope you don't have a series tonight. Oh, wait, you don't.
I think
but
Pogs is the guy that shows up.
Listen, hang on. Here's the best thing. This is the best thing about this. So Pale says, hey, let's get a prediction, man. And then all of a sudden, you can't hear a word he's saying until 45 seconds later. Are you with us, man? Are you back, Pale? Okay, man.
No, wait,
that's it.
Wait, it's coming.
I'm here. I don't know.
Oh shit, that's awesome.
Ability, man. Give me what you got, man. What's the last bit? Oh my
all
God.
right. So I really want to see McSwagger and Rev Hellcat inch closer to obtaining the title that I know they want. This team perhaps may be underrated in their own right, but I think that this is the playoff team of the Wanderers. Some teams don't show up every night for their series, but some teams show up for the playoffs. So this is where we're at right now. This sort of thing happens. And I honestly, if I had to root for a team, I'm rooting for the Wanderers. And it's no slight against Agent's team, and it's no slight against any of the players on Agent's team. So please, guys, don't hold it against me for feeling this way. I got my own dog in the fight, and I really want to see if DJ and his squad can pull this off. It would be a huge upset, and then they'd have to battle my team. So I'm rooting for the Wanderers tonight. I'm hoping that they can find a way to make it interesting and maybe pull out a win or two. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Oh my God, dude! I literally died a little inside because you see Pale's lips moving, but I can't make out the words. I'm dead. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding. And then you have Ryan wait for it, man. It's coming. It's coming. Fuck, man. What was I gonna say? Oh, this is where I do the send off. By the way, I'm still the champ for 2 more weeks, so let's not forget that. Let's not get crazy. I know I got swept. I'll be back. I'll be back, man. I'm gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna enjoy the belt for just a little bit longer. Look at that shine, man. You see that shit?
Oh, that
Ryan,
shit is beautiful.
Right, you want this, right, Ryan?
Oh, who doesn't? Who doesn't want that?
You want this, man?
Where's the belt?
Hang on. I want to show you I want to show you some of the names on this belt. Look at XDA.
Wait. You're showing the belt for 20 seconds, and then you hear Pale say, "Where's the belt?"
Listen, I want to show you, Ryan, not to put any pressure on you. I was going to do this to Agent 2, but look at some of the names on this belt, man. Look at some of the greats. You got D-Mart, Sober Enough, Pale Poner, XDALY. This is prestigious group. This is some guys who have been around. I want to see ability. I want to see it on this thing, man. So no pressure, but 2 names from the Thursday Throwdown are on this belt. It would be nice to see another one. We'll see what happens, but you're gonna have your work cut out for you. This is usually the point of the show where I grab my little putting it in gun and I do the dun 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 dun. That toy doesn't work anymore. I broke it. I think I threw it against the wall. That's what happens when you get swept. And I want to give this is my send off. There is such a thing. It's called post-series emo. There's a definition for it. It's when you lose a series, especially a big one. You just got to give people time. It takes some time to kind of come back from that. So you got to give them some time. It took me a couple days, but here I am. I'm back, man. Didn't miss the show. We get it after. It's called post-series emo. We've all experienced it. It happens. It's a thing. Don't let it ruin your experience. After post-series emo, don't say, I quit. I'm never playing again. That's not how it works. Post-series emo, let it subside. Get over it like you're like an adult, and then you come back and get after it. You know, you can break shit. Like I broke my son's toy. He's absolutely destroyed. I was going to give it back, but now it doesn't work, so it doesn't matter at this point. But yeah, man, that's it. So I'm looking forward to the series tonight. We're going to send it off here. As always, you guys have been watching. Guys and gals, I say that, but like, you know, it's like this Chelsea and Kinky and Kayla, you guys are like, you know, we saw like, are all homies, man. It's like whatever. So, but it's been Thursday Throwdown, your longest running episodic show in 239 history. And by the way, we are always punctual and on time, just like the Sober Elitist show, because we are on at 8:30-ish. So with that being said, guys and gals, have a great night, and we'll see you next week. Peace.
Peace.
Peace.